Our featured stock of the month has our analysts buzzing with anticipation. The company is SEFE Inc., listed on the NASDAQ OTCBB market under the ticker SEFE. They're on the verge of creating an entirely new alternative energy industry called atmospheric energy. They're quickly cornering the market with technology patents, ready to monopolize an emerging, high-demand segment. The stock, quite simply, could go ballistic. To get an understanding of the global potential for this innovative energy resource, consider this. The Internet is a $1 trillion market used by 1.2 billion people. Meanwhile, there are 4 billion users of electricity worldwide, making that market worth $6 trillion. According to recent estimates, the global renewable energy market has soared to a value of $322.5 billion. By 2015, this market is forecast to reach nearly $500 billion. In the words of the head of the United Nations Environment Program, the progress of renewables has been nothing short of remarkable. There's an unprecedented global push to step away from fossil fuels, but alternative energy sources aren't created equal. SEFE is a small technology company whose portfolio of patents could send your profits soaring by harnessing a practically unlimited source of cheap power. But first, let's talk a moment about the current state of the alternative energy market. Solar, wind, hydroelectric, and nuclear each have significant flaws. Solar not only is limited by the amount of sunshine, it's very expensive. Wind is limited in where and when it can be used, and harmful to wildlife. Hydroelectric and nuclear power require enormous capital outlays and are despised and blocked by environmental groups for obvious reasons. But I didn't create this presentation to make an argument against alternative energy. Far from it, because our analysts believe that SEFE could be on the verge of becoming a multi-billion-dollar cap company before the market even knows what happened. They're delivering on the promise of a technology that's able to pull energy literally out of thin air. And at 3 cents a kilowatt hour, it's a fraction of the cost of other sources, which average 9.8 cents according to the Energy Information Administration. The technology is simple in principle. The air that surrounds us is packed with static electricity, and the engineering minds at SEFE have discovered a clever way to harness this practically limitless untapped energy. Their code-named Harmony units consist of a weather balloon, hundreds or thousands of feet in the air, tethered to the ground with a long conductive wire, which absorbs and transmits the static electricity. As I say, pretty simple. But the trick comes in turning this supply into usable energy. And here's where SEFE's massive advantage in intellectual property comes into play. They've already secured 4 patents from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And nearly 24 other technology advances are in various stages of the patent application process. Without getting bogged down in the details, these unique devices can transform static electricity from the ambient air into alternating current that can be pumped into existing utility grids or into direct current that can charge batteries. It's remarkably safe and efficient. It works around the clock, unlike solar or wind. Based on the most recent testing, SEFE anticipates reaching 64,000 watts at 3,000 feet. Bottom line, SEFE is the only company capable of exploiting this niche of the alternative energy market. Nearly 40 U.S. states now have renewable portfolio standards plans on the books. Last year, for example, California passed a bill requiring a third of the state's power to come from renewable energy sources by 2020. And New Jersey's Energy Master Plan aims for 22.5% from renewable sources by 2021. This energy needs to come from somewhere, and SEFE represents the perfect solution. As it happens, SEFE is wired for fast implementations. The company already has relationships with 900 utilities and Native American tribes across the U.S. ready to go as soon as testing is complete. But beyond the permanent utility installations, SEFE is uniquely tailored to remote locations, such as mining companies or rural construction firms that need reliable power, or manufacturing companies or water desalination plants in the Third World. SEFE is a natural match for military use, particularly given the U.S. Department of Defense's mandated increases in clean energy investments. They're spending well over $1 billion annually now, and on track to spend more than $10 billion annually by 2030. SEFE is also tailor-made for emergency relief. Consider that the Red Cross handles about 70,000 disaster responses annually, and imagine if just a fraction of those were powered by a SEFE Harmony unit. The minds behind SEFE are well aware of their company's global potential. Just like the U.S., about half the countries in the world have policies to support renewables. Pew Research projects that over the next 20 years, growth in this sector will require nearly $7 trillion of new capital. SEFE already has a relationship with a mining major in Australia, putting them in the sweet spot for mineral mines across Asia, the South Pacific, and other areas of the Far East. SEFE could prove to be ridiculously profitable. They're selling electricity, not just the Harmony units. They have low overhead and capital investment requirements. They make money on maintenance and security as well. And they've assembled an impressive team of engineers and scientists with outstanding pedigrees from institutions such as the renowned Colorado School of Mines and top natural science and atmospheric science departments across the country. For a glimpse at the possibilities that could lie ahead for SEFE, look at what happened in other alternative energies from 2000 to 2010. Wind power went from $4 billion to $60.5 billion, while solar power jumped from $2.5 billion to $71.2 billion. Even so, they're still only supplying less than 3% of the world's rapidly increasing energy demand. Atmospheric energy could grow as rapidly as solar and wind, potentially even faster. By virtue of controlling key patents, SEFE is in the driver's seat as the first and only company poised to capitalize on atmospheric energy's potential. Their trajectory could be just like First Solar, which went public in November 2006 and reached a market cap in excess of $25 billion 18 months later, with a stock price that rocketed up 1,485%. Today, First Solar is a patent powerhouse in solar, but didn't even have any applications in their first 2 years and only had 21 by their fourth year. With 4 approved patents and nearly 24 other applications, SEFE is ahead of the game. Their intellectual property strategy could also make them attractive to GE, which already represents half of the world's capacity in wind-generated power and is making a significant push into solar. They're on record for seeking $30 billion in acquisitions over the next 2 to 3 years. SEFE would fit perfectly into GE's intellectual property portfolio, enabling them to dominate atmospheric energy almost overnight. We believe a bidding war for SEFE could happen between major energy conglomerates. Research by the Pew Charitable Trusts showed that the clean energy sector grew by more than 600% in the past 7 years. World energy consumption is expected to grow by 40% in the next 2 decades, and Pew Research indicates that investment in alternative energy could total some $2.3 trillion this decade alone. SEFE stands poised to profit from this massive influx of money, making its investors unthinkably rich in the process. Like their revolutionary invention, SEFE is poised to head for the sky. The company projects earnings per share will be around $0.202 when just 100 Harmony units have been deployed, which is a conservative scenario. Using a price-earning ratio of 30 on the moderate side for the top-ranked high-tech companies in the NASDAQ 100 gives us a short-term target price of $6.06. Over the long haul, based on the strength of patents alone, SEFE could warrant a multi-billion-dollar valuation in its stock. So don't delay your due diligence. The company is currently undergoing the testing that will enable it to launch and customize collection systems in different regions. The first deal could come any day. This is the type of opportunity that we specialize in, an undiscovered company in an untapped industry that could soar 1,000% before the market even wakes up. Penny Stock Wizard gives SEFE its highest rating. Strong buy.